Hello everyone, it's D to the B here, and once again I have my friend Nerdsfeed with me.
Well, howdy.
And today we're going to be ranking every single Transformers movie. There's been 10, but we're gonna go in chronological order and rank each of the Transformers movies. I have a lot of opinions on each movie, and I would love to give my thoughts. And we have 5 rankings on here. S tier is called You Got the Touch. A is The Real Power of a Prime. Then there's Roll Out. Then You Fight for the Weak. And then Fall. Fall!
I like it.
Alright, so let's start with the first theatrical movie, Transformers the Movie. Now I'm going to say it as a Bayverse fan. I don't know why, but I absolutely love this movie. Like, just something about it just grasps my attention. I like a lot of things about it. I love the soundtrack. I love the story, especially the rise of Hot Rod to Rodimus. Like, it is just so iconic. I love it so much. What are your thoughts on it?
I like how dark it was.
Yeah.
I like how so many people died, and it was just like the beginning of the movie, and so many were wiped out. I found that really enjoyable. I ain't gonna lie. Ironhide's death. That was rough.
Yeah, and I think
but I liked it.
I think Transformers needed that, to be honest, because if you look at the show, no one really dies in it. And like that would be fine for like a comedy show, but Transformers' theme is supposed to be war. And I think them not introducing the concept of death in the franchise early on really did hurt this movie, unfortunately. Because I remember hearing like there was a kid who locked himself in his closet because of Optimus Prime's death. Like they were so traumatized. Like that's why I love 86 so much, because it brought realism to it. I remember seeing a comment a while back, and I highlighted it in one of my really old videos, saying that Transformers the movie is kind of similar to Rogue One, where it pretty much killed a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I kind of like that they went darker later. Like, the normal series is lighter and for kids, but by the time that the movie came out, it was more like, you grew up with this series and now you're old enough to be able to understand death. I kind of like that aspect of it, but a lot of kids didn't really grow up with the show and then watch it. It was a lot of first-time viewers going, oh, look, a Transformers movie, and then they watch it, and then everyone's dead, and they didn't expect that, and
Yeah,
I kind of get that.
That's kind of why I felt like it hurt the movie, unfortunately. Because, like,
I
death
agree with you.
is a good theme to introduce to kids, because not everyone lives forever. If they don't
That's true.
have that...
There was a lot of death, though.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of it. Personally, for me, I would have to say You Got the Touch. I really, really love this movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. Such heroic nonsense has been stuck in my head ever since I watched it, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Then we got my next favorite movie, Transformers 2007. I can't call it Transformers 1 because of Transformers 1. Gosh darn you!
I think we should go ahead and just put that up there at the top, or
Yeah.
maybe the second tier. I mean, I really like it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Transformers 2007 is the best live-action Transformers movie. It is really good. Is everything about it perfect? No, there are some weird jokes here and there in the movie. I remember one of my complaints in my Transformers 2007 video was a lot of the things you could probably cut out from it, like the grass conversation, for example. Like, why did that need to be in there?
It was fun. It was just dumb fun. That's the best way to describe it.
But yeah, it's like, it was the best way to start off the franchise. Also, I love the designs of the Transformers, because I think them just straight up being blocky would not work in live action. I think them being more sophisticated made it a bit more realistic, but that's just my opinion.
I agree with you. I kind of like the designs in like the Rise of the Beast, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I prefer Bayverse without a doubt.
Yeah,
Once you
yeah,
get to, like,
I
the
def-
last night, that's gonna
Oh.
change a little bit, but
Yeah, we'll get there too. But yeah, I think what the heck, I'm gonna put it in You Got the Touch. It's a good movie.
I agree with you. Keep it
Now,
there forever.
now here we go. The movie we might have to debate on. So, Revenge of the Fallen is not a great sequel. Like, story-wise, it is not good.
It
Unfortunately,
is very messy, you're right.
and there's a lot of factors to it. I think one of them was the writer's strike at the time did play a huge factor into it.
If I remember right, didn't Michael Bay actually write a large portion of this movie himself?
Yeah. I think like the people like Michael Bay had to finish what was not done about the movie. Now, there are still a lot of iconic things in here. The forest fight is amazing. One of the best action sequences in the franchise.
I'll take you all on. That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah. And there are elements I like, and I'll say this, I know I'm going to piss some people off. Like, I never found Skits and Mudflap racist whatsoever.
Me either.
Like,
So,
even back in the day when I hated them, because I was convinced by the internet that they were bad characters, I didn't think they were racist. I thought that was ridiculous. But then looking back on it, like, you know, I actually kind of like them. I'm gonna get so much hate in the comments for it.
well, for a racist stereotype to work, you have to be able to recognize that it is a stereotype, and I never got that vibe there at all. I think it is more racist to assume that they are racist because you believe it's a stereotype.
Exactly.
Consider it racist because of how they look. I like the Mudflap and Skids. I thought they were funny. I ain't gonna lie. I enjoyed them. I thought they were wasted, but I enjoyed them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a video that's also gonna be coming out at some point.
Oh, okay. I like that. I'm ready. I'm excited.
So, I don't know which one I would put Revenge of the Fallen in.
Really messy, but it's still a lot of fun.
Let's put
I
it in
enjoyed it.
Rollout. Because
Yeah.
it's not good, but it's not bad either. Not like horrendously bad.
It's really middle of the road for me, so
Yeah.
I think that works.
And then here comes my second favorite movie of the Bayverse. And how the franchise should have ended, Dark of the Moon.
I have mixed feelings with this one too.
You do? Dang.
Oh yeah.
So, the reason I like Dark of the Moon and thought it should have been the ending is it wrapped things up with the final battle. I loved the action in this movie. The soundtrack is amazing in this movie. Like, I liked it more than the Revenge of the Fallen soundtrack.
I agree with you on both those points.
Like, I also
I think-
like how dark it is. This movie brought a real harsh factor into it. Like, I can't describe how much I really like this movie. Now, again, useless human plot stuff here and there. I think it's still pretty
Yeah, that's
solid.
what kind of drug it down for me. I didn't like, what was her name, Carly?
Oh, yeah.
Was that her name? I think it
Yeah,
was. I didn't like her.
Carly.
I didn't like her at all. Didn't care about her. Anything could have happened to her, and it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah. And
I ain't gonna lie, but I think that kind of really drug it down for me because, like, the end of Revenge of the Fallen is literally Michaela and Sam realizing they love each other, and then they're just like, "Oh, sorry, they broke up. That's what happened."
yeah, that was so
No, it's with Carly.
disappointing.
I didn't like that. I really liked how Sam and Bumblebee would have these little petty arguments and stuff. They really felt like friends. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I will say, even though
The
the
action
human
scenes
stuff
were
was useless, I think it was better handled in Dark of the Moon than it was Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like, I remember...
Even if Laserbeak and freaking the doctor, whatever his name is, Ken, that was weird.
Yeah, that was...
The whole tries to killing with pistols thing, that was really out there, but
Yeah.
Whatever, it was funny.
Like, I remember people complaining about, oh, there's too much humans in the live-action movies. I'm like, I feel like it works with the first one. The later ones, I can completely understand. Like, it made sense for 2007 to start off with humans, to get us familiar with something we already know, and then introducing the sci-fi aspect to it. I think that's what made 2007 so special, is they didn't introduce the Transformers right away.
Yeah, and I like the military. I thought having the military fight him was pretty decent.
Yeah.
There was some weird scenes, but that freaking wingsuit scene, that was fantastic. That was a really good shot. I liked it.
Yeah, I also like the idea in both Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon, the human alliance thing. Like, it would make sense that the Autobots and humans would unite to fight off Decepticons. I thought that was a really cool idea.
Both sides willing to risk everything for Earth. It was kind of nice.
And also, the Bayverse did it better than Earthspark. So,
I did not like that Sam took out freaking Starscream, though. That was not.
No, that cracked me up. I loved
that. I hated it. I could not stand it. It made me so mad. They built Starscream up as such a threat, and then he was just taken out by like one dude.
I can't see.
One arm. One arm to do that crap.
I would probably have to put it in You Got the Touch or The Real Power of a Prime. What would you say?
The Real Power of the Prime, is that the second one or the
Yeah,
third
that's
one
the
down?
second one. You Got the Touch is the first one. What?
Yeah, I think I would put it in the second. I really like Sentinel Prime, and he really raises it for me, especially since Leonard Nimoy used the same kind of line that he used in Star Trek, where he was like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Oh, yeah. Sentinel
really
pissed
that.
me off as a kid.
Dude, I loved him. I thought he was so cool until he, killed my favorite character.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I hated him for the longest time.
He became a fantastic villain, let me tell you.
He's a great villain, no doubt about it, but here's a funny story. I've told people this offline. So when I was a kid, before Dark of the Moon had came out and all the toys were out, I got the Leader Class Sentinel Prime. And I'm like, oh, this is a cool character. I like him. And then I watched Dark of the Moon. I'm like, I hate you so much.
That's funny. I think I would put it in Power of the Primes if they handled Megatron better. If the ending was what it was actually supposed to be, if they went with the one where Megatron and Optimus came to an agreement at the end after Megatron killed Sentinel, if that's what they went with, I would have preferred it. It would have been higher.
Yeah.
That right there would have changed it for me, but they went how they did it, and I didn't like it.
That's fair. Granted, I think it was kind of justified at the same time. Because, like, if you think about it, Megatron did a lot of terrible things on screen and then off screen at the same time.
Yeah, he wasn't a great person or anything, but he didn't seem to the point where I would think he was, like, just some murderous psychopath. I feel like at the point of time at the end of Dark of the Moon that he could have actually had a conversation with Optimus and realized what he actually wanted, because he talked to humans within the actual movies, and he had real conversations with them as if they were beings that deserved some kind of respect.
Yeah.
So I feel like there was something in there, but they kind of wasted it.
Yeah.
For no reason. Because it's not like he was the main bad guy in the next movie, so.
Yeah. I'm fine with either ending, but honestly, Hasbro, if you're somehow watching this, have them re-release Dark of the Moon, but make the other ending and just call it an alternate universe. I think people would actually watch that.
I would. I'd rewatch the whole movie anyway, so with a new ending, buddy, I'd buy it.
Yeah, just like the regular release of Justice League and then the Snyder cut. Like, that would be cool. I want to see that.
Another video.
Alright. So, next week...
Yeah, I like where you have it.
Yeah. Alright, next is Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Predacons Rising. Now, I've heard some people complain about this film, but I'm going to say something controversial. I like this movie. Especially when I rewatched it. I really did like this movie. Now, I wouldn't say it was like you got the touch, but it was the best ending for Transformers Prime, in my opinion. What would you say about it?
I've watched it maybe 5 times, okay? So
Whoa.
Somehow I still have mixed feelings on it. I really like Transformers Prime. I've watched through the whole series multiple times, even more than just the Caught Pickin' movie. But just sitting here, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about how they handled the whole Galvatron Megatron thing.
Okay, yeah, that was a waste.
It was weird. It didn't feel like they went all the way with it like they should. But there were some scenes, like whenever, I think it was Starscream and, I'm having a brain fart.
Yeah.
Shockwave were teaming up there. I like that. I thought that was kind of cool. Given how much they hated each other, they spend time in this movie together, and then they have their own little Predacons that they have different relationships with. I thought that was cool. I thought the Predaking coming back like he did, I like that. I like that he was able to be the Predaking. I like Knockout being a part, even though he was very wasted. Very wasted.
Yeah, he certainly was. What would you say you would put it in?
I don't know. I'm struggling between the second and third tier. I might put it in the third, just because there's a lot of things that I feel like it should have had a little bit more time to wrap up, and then it didn't.
True. I mean, you got Galvatron's revenge. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah, well, that's another story for another day.
Yeah, no.
Unless you want to rank that one, it's technically a movie.
It's not on the list. I said I would stay out of this after my video. I'm going to plan to stay out of it. I'm keeping my word. All right, now we have the next movie, which is very controversial, and that is Transformers: Age of Extinction. Now, hot take, I actually do like this movie. I like a lot of ideas in the movie. Like, like the idea of the Transformers being hunted down and humans figuring out how the Transformers tick. Interesting concept for a film. We also got introduced to Lockdown in a live action movie. The soundtrack is good as well. Now, there are some downsides to this movie, like Tessa, for example. She was, like, really annoying. There was only, like, one part I really found funny. It was like, nope, I'm going back to the ship, and that was it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I liked Kate Yeager.
I don't know.
Her boyfriend was annoying.
Yeah, the Romeo and Juliet law is what came into my mind when you brought up Tessa. That entire scene was so stupid.
I didn't know what that was when I first watched it. I was like maybe 13 when I watched watched it the first time. But looking back on it, I'm like, oh, especially finding out more context about what that role even is. It's just like...
It was unnecessary to bring it up in the first place, because I believe that the actress is I think she was actually of age at the time that they were filming the movie.
Why didn't you just...
The entire plotline was completely pointless.
Why didn't you just make her 18? We would have...
Oh, that would have made sense. That wouldn't have been as freaking creepy if they did that.
I mean, you still could have had the dad stuff and also not be cringe at the same time.
But why would you do that when you're Michael Bay, you know? People talk about the movie more if it's controversial.
Yeah, like, I don't hate this film, but I wouldn't put it in, like, you got the touch. I would say either The Real Power of a Prime or Roll Out, in my opinion. What would you say?
I don't like it very much at all, to be completely honest with you. There is a lot of marketing that is shoved in, and it is so in your face that I could not stand it. I feel like they wasted Lockdown Ship. It could have been this really cool thing, and then it ended up kind of not being. Lockdown himself, I thought he was kind of cool.
Yeah, he was a
I
really good
don't-
villain. I liked him.
I like the concepts, like you said. I like the ideas. I like a lot of the ideas of the humans trying to figure out more of how Cybertronians work, what makes them tick. I really like that. I kind of like that they tried to make their own Transformers, but then they went the whole way where they're like freaking, kind of like the nanomites. I didn't like that. I didn't like how high tech they were. I didn't think that was nice. Or no, that was last. I think that was last night where they were with the nanomites, wasn't it? I don't even remember now. They're just blending together in my head. I didn't like how the Dinobots were portrayed.
Oh
I can
yeah,
tell you
that was another factor. I should have considered that. The Dinobots were fine, but unfortunately, I wish they could have done more with them, especially since they were a big marketing ploy when the movie came out.
Yeah, they were treated like mounts. They weren't really treated like organisms that exist, that live, that have lives or personalities. They were animals, and I did not like that. I didn't like it at all. I'd rather them be kind of like slow.
Yeah.
The way that animated did it, where they're not the brightest,
Right.
them
right.
have no personality whatsoever. It felt wrong in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but I did
Yeah.
not like it at all.
Yeah, that's
I did
fair.
like how they brought the Sector 7 guy back. I don't even remember what his name is. I enjoyed that.
I think you're thinking
I
of
enjoy
The
seeing
Last
him in
Night.
everything, though. So.
I think you're
I
thinking
might
of
be
the
thinking
last
of The
night.
Last Night.
Yeah. So what would you have to
They
rate
both blend together for me.
Age of Extinction?
I don't know.
Would
It's
you-
a lot better than The Last Night.
Would you put it in roll out or you fight for the weak? Or
I
even
might put it
harsher,
in Rollout
fall,
just 'cause there
fall.
was still a lot of stuff that I did like.
All right, put in roll out.
I might put it in Rollout.
Yeah, let's put in roll out. And then speaking of the devil, we got The Last Night.
Okay, so I don't like it. Alright,
Yeah,
put it
fall.
at the bottom. I don't
Fall.
care. The action scenes just blended together for me. I didn't even enjoy the action. I don't like The Last Night. I've tried to watch it so many times. I fell asleep watching it the first times I tried to watch it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
your
Originally,
turn.
I did like this movie mostly because of Bayformers nostalgia. But then when I watched it again with my family, I'm like, man, this movie absolutely sucks. They messed up this whole franchise.
It wasn't great. They ruined the actual lore of the Bayverse.
Yeah.
For no reason at all. They tried to make it. I think they tried to make it so like the Bumblebee movie could build off of it, but then
Yeah,
they just decided
because-
not to build the Bumblebee movie.
Because they were
off of
trying
it.
to build a cinematic universe. And
That's the kind of vibe I was getting.
it's a cool idea. Like some of those scrapped films I actually wish got made. Like one for me was Operation Skyfire. That really sounded good.
That might have to be another video because I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I'll add it to the list. But it was such an interesting idea. Granted, the only thing I didn't like about the concept was they unfroze Megatron like way too early. Like, okay, that would be the only thing I would change about the movie. But yeah.
I wish The Last Night was good so we could have seen it.
Yeah, it goes in fall, but there's so many issues with it. You're right, the action's one. I think they also shoved way too much in for the movie. They shoved in Unicron. They shoved in World War II stuff. They shoved in Headmasters. Like, it was so much to comprehend.
Grail.
And they probably could,
Everything was in there.
like, they wanted to do
I
so
don't
much for a cinematic universe for Transformers, but unfortunately they shoved too much in The Last Night, where it didn't really work, and it ended up killing it. I mean,
Yeah, he tried too hard.
the one thing I'll give credit to Michael Bay is he wanted to keep the cinematic universe for Transformers just Transformers related, unlike the rebooted continuity where we are supposedly getting a G.I. Joe crossover.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm excited for it.
Really?
That's something I'm looking forward to. I love G.I. Joe. I grew up with Transformers and G.I. Joe back to back. Like, I'd watch G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, and then the Transformers series would come on right after. So they kind of coexist in my mind anyway. And I've read the comics, which are not great. They're not great. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I was
not
about
good.
to say
But
the comics are
I'm
pretty
excited.
bad, from what I heard. But now we get to this one, the Bumblebee movie. Now I know I've mentioned this opinion before, and I know people are gonna kill me regardless, but I kind of find Bumblebee overrated. Like, the movie itself is fine, but when people were saying, "Oh, it's the best Transformers movie in existence," I'm like, no, it is not.
I love it, but it's not the best. It's no.
I
I really like how they went with it, though.
like, because of all those people, it was really hard to like it. Because I don't even think it's that great. It's just okay as a movie. Like, the only parts I really cared for was the Cybertron stuff and also the villains. The Amnesia stuff was complete nonsense for me.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Like,
It was more of like a regression, and I wasn't a fan of that.
yeah. Like, that's not even how Amnesia works anyway. You don't turn into a scared puppy dog. You just forget things. But you still act normal.
Yeah,
Again,
they kind of regressed him to like a toddler is what it felt like a little child. And it like for an emotional point, I like it. I feel like it's really easy to connect to somebody that is like a child that is in a war and they don't have the mentality to handle it. I feel like that's not bad at all. It didn't have the edge to go with it, you know? It didn't feel as dark as it needed to really make that storyline work, so it just came off kind of annoying, more like a pander than something they actually cared about. I don't know. It was
yeah.
juvenile.
It would have worked
that
for
might be the
a
word.
Transformers movie with a freshly born Transformer. That would have made more sense. It just
Yeah,
didn't
like
work.
a Terran from Transformers Earthspark.
Yeah,
but
something
they
like
missed
that, yeah.
opportunity too.
Or even something like Beast Wars Protoforms as well.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah. But I would
I
say
liked,
probably Rollout or The Real Power of a Prime.
I liked Shatter and Dropkick. I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, I
They were
liked them
good
too.
villains. I liked that there was less villains and less heroes, so we had more time with them. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
The action scenes. I like the action scenes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
like how
there
they
were-
could transform into like a
Yeah,
kick. That was cool.
that's another
That
thing.
kind of
I did
stuff.
like the final battle. And the
No.
Blitzwing fight was cool, even though they wasted Blitzwing, which made me very
They
mad.
did. He kicked Major butt while he was on screen, though. I will say he did a decent job,
Yeah. So what
and I
would
did
you...
like John Cena. Weirdly enough,
what would you
I don't
say?
know.
I think it's
It
too.
wasn't as political, and I think that was a problem. So I think I'd put it in the second tier because, like, the Bayverse tackled on the politics of like war and stuff, and that's what I associate with Transformers.
Yeah.
It didn't quite hit that mark for me.
Yeah, that's
It was
fair.
good, but it wasn't fantastic.
I might just be biased as well because I grew up with Bayformers.
Me too.
So,
I still love it, but I can recognize that it's not.
oh yeah, it's
The
definitely
best.
it's definitely not perfect. There are definitely issues with Bayverse. Speaking of movies that are sort of connected to the Bayverse, thanks Lorenzo, is Transformers Rise of the Beast. Now, I have another hot take on this movie. I liked it more than
Hot.
Bumblebee.
Really? I feel the exact opposite. I like Bumblebee more.
The reason I liked this movie more, like, sure, the movie is absolutely not perfect. And in a story-wise, it probably is better. But the reason I like it is because it actually felt like something was going on. Like, Bumblebee
That
was
makes sense.
respected for once. Well, besides him dying. I did like the Terracons, mostly Scourge. I mean, how they handled the Maximals was decent. I wish they did something better with the Maximals. Granted, I would have had them in their own separate movie, to be honest. like the original plan.
Yep.
I liked
They
Mirage
they
in
needed
this
the star
movie.
power of Bumblebee and Optimus, though, didn't they? Isn't that why they changed it?
Yeah, that was.
That's
I
what I
will
thought.
say, I don't hate Optimus's character arc in the movie. It is rushed, but I think it's a really good idea to have Optimus just not trust the humans right away.
I don't know how I feel about it. It didn't completely feel like Optimus to me the entire time, but there were still moments where I was like, "That's Optimus Prime."
Yeah.
So it's really mixed for me in my head. I don't really know how to feel about it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I will say another problem with the movie is they also shoved way too much into it. Because we got the Autobots. Originally, the Decepticons were going to be there, which I am so mad that they cut that transit fight. Hasbro, make the original cut of Rise of the Beast 2 while you're at it.
Right.
Transit
okay,
fight.
I don't think that one's going to happen.
Transit fight, all that stuff you were going to have. Put that in.
A lot going on. There were so many characters that I couldn't really get connected or care about any of them. And then they killed off Airazor, which
Oh, yeah, that
really angered me.
that pissed me off. I'm like, why?
There's no reason to do that. We didn't need both the Autobots and the Maximals. We didn't need them both. I feel like it would have been better if we just had the Maximals, which is probably not a popular opinion, because I did like Mirage. I liked the Autobots. We didn't need them. Maybe Mirage. We can keep Mirage. If we have to have an Autobot, then at least we could have him, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't need them there.
Yeah. I will say, I also hated the music in this movie. Like, I was not...
You didn't like the music?
Yeah, no, I'm not a rap fan.
I am a rap fan. I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was hype.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know how I feel about the human characters. I don't even remember their names. I like the dude. I like the man.
Oh,
I thought he was
Noah?
decent. The final fight where he fights with Optimus, that was honestly really good. It was, you had to suspend your disbelief a little bit more for it, because, which is weird to say in a movie about giant robots fighting, but when you had a freaking young man in there fighting with them, that is a bit odd. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was stupid, but I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, there's some ideas there, kind of like The Last Night. But, of course, even it's slightly better than The Last Night, but shares a lot of issues, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, there's just so many characters on screen at all times. And the Terracons, they weren't built up enough for me. I wanted to...
Oh, yeah.
Like, with Shatter and Dropkick, I cared about them a little bit. I had a reason to dislike them besides the fact that they're scary and bad. But for the Terracons, they were just scary and bad, so I didn't like them.
Yeah.
That's not very compelling.
Yeah, I wish they did build up more on the Terracons, especially when it was like the whole hype train of the ideas they had for Rise of the Beast. Like how...
Yeah.
Like how Nightbird was supposed to be similar to Black Arachnia. Scourge was this hunter who took his victims' symbols and put them on himself. Like, they had cool ideas.
See, that would have been nice. It would have differentiated them, and they wouldn't have just felt like one big group that had to be together for me to care that they exist. They needed personalities.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have them.
Yeah. They honestly could have split... Forget the whole 4-hour cut thing. I think they could have split this movie into 2 parts. It would have been...
I think they should have.
Like, knowing that the original cut was 4 hours, they should have just split it into 2 parts. Because then that's 2 installments of your trilogy that was supposed to happen, which is probably not going to even happen anymore. Since the director is no longer with them.
If they did separate it out, I would have wanted a movie with the Maximals as the main characters, and then in the next movie, then if you wanted to, you could throw the Autobots in with them, because now the Maximals are already shown to be people separate from or I keep calling people, Transformers separate from the Autobots with their own personalities and motivations and way of leading and way of doing things. And then whenever you throw them in with the Autobots, we already know Bumblebee. We know who Optimus is, just even if you've never seen Transformers, you know who Optimus is. So you just have to learn the new ones.
Yeah.
And I think that would have worked a lot better than throwing them all in at once and going, okay, figure out who you like and why you like them, because I didn't end up liking many of them. They were there, they were fine, but nobody really stood out as memorable except for Pablo, because that's not Wheeljack, and neither was Q, and it made me so mad that they wasted him twice when we had a Wheeljack design in Bumblebee. But okay, we'll just move on. I'll be here for hours.
Both with Q and Pablo, if they were their own characters, I don't think people would hate them as much.
No, but it's supposed to be Wheeljack, and that ruined it.
Yeah. People, I remember, you know the channel The Fire Brothers? I remember him speculating that it was a separate Wheeljack. Like a whole different character.
I hope he's right.
Yeah, same.
If not, then they retconned a Wheeljack that looked like Wheeljack for one that we call Pablo now. That is crazy. That is a wild idea.
But,
that is such a disconnect, too, if they did that, because all the backlash for Q, they should have known that before they decided to design Pablo as Wheeljack.
Yeah, they should
so,
have.
Yeah.
So, where would you put Rise of the Beast, in your opinion?
I have no idea. I'm very conflicted. I need to rewatch these movies, and we can do this again sometime, because
Yeah.
I did not know this was going to be such a hard thing for my mind to wrap its head around.
We'll just put it in rollout.
That'll work.
Yeah.
For now.
So now we're on our last one. Transformers 1. Now, I will say, you and I might agree on this, but I liked this movie way more than both Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast combined.
I did too, which is weird.
Like, the structure of the story is, like, way better. Now, I still think it has the same issue as Bumblebee with people overhyping it to oblivion. Saying, it's the bestest Transformers movie in existence! These people piss me off so much.
I think it attracts an audience that is different than the original Transformers movie would. And I think that's why when people say it's like the best movie in existence, I can kind of understand why in terms of animated movies, why they would think that was their best Transformers movie. Because not very many people go back and watch the original movie, which is such a shame. But I learned that the other day in Discord when I wanted to talk about Transformers in a Transformers Discord that didn't kick me out, thankfully.
Oh.
And nobody knew about the original movie, and if they did, they didn't want to go watch it because it was too kid-friendly, they said. Which is crazy, because it's not. It's not too kid-friendly at all. But that's the vibe that it has because of where it's connected to the original series, and nobody wants to watch old media anymore. And
yeah.
So whenever people really hype up Transformers 1, it's because they don't really watch much Transformers besides that. And I can kind of understand where they're coming from in that regard. And as an origin story, it is pretty good.
It is a good film, no doubt about it. I just think it's overhyped. Like, there's a lot of good things about it. Animation was one thing that I originally had a problem with, but the animation style has grown on me over the years. I like Orion's arc in the movie, regardless. I like the transition from D16 to Megatron. I liked even the Primes. Like, there's a lot of good things, but then there's things that kind of hold it back for me. Like, two things that I've advocated in the past was, I hated Bumblebee in this movie, and I hate Alita 1 in this movie.
I have a love-hate relationship with Alita 1, but when it comes to Bumblebee, I didn't like him. I can see reasons for why he would act how he does, but it's just like in the Bumblebee movie where he felt too immature. Like, there can be an immature Bumblebee. Bumblebee's usually the more immature out of the rest of the Transformers. That is what he's supposed to be. Yeah,
like,
but
that's not the problem.
I feel like there's a fine line where he felt like he wasn't really acknowledging the situation for the majority of the movie. And it did bother me while I watch it. When he gets to the point where he does go like, oh crap, like, whenever he's serious, it does make those serious moments more impactful. But whenever he's not for the majority of the film, it can get annoying. And I feel like they needed to strike that balance more, especially when it came to the jokes. The Bad Buttertron, that was funny the first time. And the last time.
I
but
hated
in the middle when he
that
did it three
joke in
times,
general. I hated it from the trailer. I'm like, why is this a joke?
They overused it. They thought it was a lot funnier than it was. And it was funny at first, okay? But, like, I don't need to hear it 3 times in a row while he annoys Alita. It made me sympathize with her more.
Yeah, that was like the one.
Crap out of me.
That was the one part where I actually agreed and laughed at something Alita said.
Yeah, I am conflicted. I'm making character analysis on just about every character in the movie, so that tells you one thing. I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's fantastic. I'd probably put it up at the top 2. It'd be at the end, below everybody else or all the other films, but yeah. I'd still put it up there.
Yeah, you got the touch. Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Yeah. I don't know why we always have to make Sentinel Prime the bad guy, though. That is becoming very common, and it feels kind of weird.
I mean, it is a part of his source material, and I did enjoy the Sentinel Prime. I think I liked him more than the Dark of the Moon version. I loved his snarkiness and overconfidence of himself. Because it does fit the character. He's supposed to be like this narcissist.
I preferred in Dark of the Moon because, yes, he was full of himself, but it was because he saw himself as wise, like he was smarter than everyone else, instead of just better than everyone else. And that was my disconnect with the Transformers 1 version, is he was just full of himself because he thought he was great, and he had to literally murder people to get that greatness. It was never something he actually earned, where Dark of the Moon, he earned that respect.
Right. I mean, at least we got to see him die.
Yeah. At least. But it was a brutal death, too, I mean.
Yeah, I was shocked that they did it.
I didn't expect that. I thought it would be like off screen or something. They threw him into a crevice or stabbed him and he fell backwards, something like that. I
figured they would like stab him or shoot him or something kid friendly, and then they just see him rip him in half. I'm like, oh my gosh!
Yeah, that stuck with me. I was not expecting that grab. That was the most hype scene. You've got him getting ripped in half, and then you've got Prime falling into the unknown, and I mean that was good. That was some good directing.
Yeah.
Man. I like it even more now that I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
There is stuff I don't like, I swear. I know I'm just talking about everything I do like.
I mean, I have a friend who simps for this movie way more than you do, so you're fine.
Okay, I feel a little bit
Hopefully he doesn't see this video. But
all the Primes didn't have to die, though. That is something that bothered me. Because I think one of the Primes even has like the ability to teleport away from that. I think he'd be in a different time zone.
You're talking about Vector Prime.
Changes. Yes. Okay, it's been a long time since I've read anything that has anything to do with him, but I believe he could have done that.
Yeah, I remember.
He didn't. Which
I remember the YouTube channel, The Random Black Gamer, talking about that with Vector Prime. I'm like, that's actually a really good point. I also found it weird.
It might be more meaningful that he didn't teleport away, or maybe in this universe he just doesn't have that ability. I don't know.
Yeah.
It bothered me a little bit. And killing Alpha Trion bothered me. We didn't need to do that.
Do you know what bothered me about the Prime scene? That Megatronus was helping them. Because that felt like out of his character for me.
I wish he put up more of a fight. Once they were all getting murked, I wish we had an extended scene of Megatronus actually fighting back. I feel like that would have felt more like what I expect from Megatronus Prime than, just getting murked. And then moving on.
Yeah.
We hyped him up too much as someone strong throughout the film for that to be the only scene.
Right.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you liked our ranking of the Transformers movies. It's definitely been fun, man.
Yeah, and if we rewatch them, we might be able to do this again and give some better insight, but we'll see.
Yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me in the comments how you would rank the movies, and have a nice day, everyone. Bye!